Summoned to the Nexus from the Diablo universe, the immortal forces of the high heavens and the burning hells now collide on the battlefield of eternity. Locked in unending combat, angels and demons drive their forces against one another, and the heroes of the Nexus will serve as the deciding factor for victory. The battlefield of eternity features 2 outside lanes surrounding a large central combat area. It is here, along the rift that separates these 2 opposing forces, where this unending conflict manifests in head-to-head combat. Shortly after a match begins, Angel Lieutenant Ilarion, the Immortal of the High Heavens, and Demon Lord Beleth, the Immortal of the Burning Hells, clash against each other. Heroes aligned with the heavens must defend Ilarion, while simultaneously supporting the attack on Beleth. Vice versa, heroes aligned with the hells must do the same in support of Beleth's attack on Ilarion. Immortals attack each other at range, but also defend themselves against assailing heroes with 2 different attacks. First, Immortals will summon 5 circles on the ground under nearby enemies. After a short duration, these circles will explode, stunning and damaging any hero caught inside. The Immortals will also utilize a general area of effect ability that damages, knocks back, and stuns any hero standing in melee range. Once either of the Immortals drop below 50% health, they will both shift to new opposing positions inside the combat area. If your team manages to defeat an enemy Immortal, a victory animation will play as your Immortal channels energy from his defeated opponent, summoning a shield that will power him for the next phase. This shield can vary in power. The higher the health remains on your Immortal at the end of the combat phase, the stronger its shield will be as it enters the laning phase. Once the channeling animation has completed, your Immortal will shift into one of the battleground's 2 lanes, prioritizing the most well-defended. While the Immortal maintains its shield, he will hover above the ground and attack at range. Each ranged attack he issues, along with the opposing damage delivered to the Immortal, will drain its shield until depleted. At this point, the Immortal will drop to the ground and enter melee combat, continuing to push against enemy buildings until it is defeated or the enemy core is destroyed. Once an Immortal is defeated in lane, the match will enter a short reprieve until both Immortals have regained their strength and spawn again for another cycle of combat. Alongside the Immortal objective, there are 4 available mercenary camps spread across the battleground. In the center area can be found 2 bruiser camps populated by fallen shaman and their hounds. Note that the shaman mercenaries will tirelessly resurrect their fallen hounds while pushing for your team, so you'll want to make them the priority target. At the north and south of the battleground are 2 siege camps populated by Khazra Impalers. Unlike previous siege camps, the Impalers deal single target damage from range with a bonus damage to buildings. The battlefield of eternity is rife with risk-reward decision-making. Will you prioritize defending your Immortal, attacking your enemies, or split your forces to simultaneously gather experience in the lanes? How much will you seek to dictate the responses of the opposing team, or instead choose to patiently watch and counter their decisions? The choices are up to you, as the power of the high heavens and the burning hells hang in the balance.